Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fuel for Success. This episode number 84 on this beautiful Monday morning. It's great to see everybody here. Today is Monday, and if you know anything about us, you know that we love Mondays. We love every day, but Mondays we love, and every for a lot of reasons. One of them is every Monday on Fuel for Success, we talk about, health, weight loss, and that sort of thing, and getting our body in shape and having energy and all those wonderful things. And it's awesome to see my good friend Matt, who's joining us in our virtual studio. I'm here in Studio 11 in Hastings. He's back home in Tampa, Florida. Man, we had an exciting weekend, didn't we?
Man, we did have an exciting weekend, and nobody in the world needs health, energy, and good habits than those that just finish up with a missions trip for many
Yeah.
reasons. One, because I think we average maybe 3.3 hours of sleep per night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of a missions trip. So, Mike, it doesn't matter how much you juice, it doesn't matter how much you work out. Sleep, my friend, is vitally important to a healthy body. So, we all know that. So, and then, of course, when you're extremely, insanely busy, like we are at a Mission 25, it's hard to slow down and maybe exercise or juice, and it knocks you out of your routine, which is a real life thing that happens to almost everybody, especially on the weekends. It's something I
Right.
want us to address today, Mike. But hey, it's good seeing you, man. So your Studio 11, what would my studio be called? I think we should name it right now. Let's let our audience name it. Do you have any
Yeah,
ideas
let's
to
do
get
that.
the ball rolling?
Well, we had discussed Palm Tree Studio, but I'm not sure I like that. Um, but I'd love to hear what our viewers
Wait,
think.
what is it?
Go ahead and type
Palm
in.
tree what?
We had said Palm Tree Studio about 50 episodes ago. We haven't really stuck with it. It didn't really stick. So maybe it's not
I
good.
like palm tree. I just think maybe we need to throw a number behind it, like palm tree, you know, palm tree 54, or palm tree 12,
42.
something like that.
Yeah. You're probably
I
a
guess.
little upset that I stole 11.
Hey, we have some people on the show, Mike, that actually attended Mission 25 this weekend. Unplugged 101, Janice says. Not a bad idea. Oh, that's raw. I just now got it. That's absolutely just defiance at its highest level right there.
It's funny,
Unplug
is
it.
what it is.
That's just hardcore. We're not going with unplug, Mike. We're gonna stick with palm tree or something like that. Speaking of palm tree, friend, it is perfect weather here. I mean, when I say perfect, I mean perfect. It couldn't be any more. There's zero clouds, it's sunshine, and the temperature is perfect. So, this is the time of year if you ever want a vacation, you want to come around this time, February, March, April, May in Florida, and definitely October, November, December, my friends. Of course,
Hmm.
January. Just skip June, July, and August, and you're good. Mike, what a weekend. Wow. I mean, we could
Right.
literally probably take the whole health and weight loss show and talk about Mission 25 this weekend. I do think it would be okay because, part of having a good health is having good energy. And the secret to having good energy is being a giver and fulfilling your purpose and your passion. So we always think health is just fruits and vegetables and treadmills, but it's the overall health, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy soul, healthy energy. And Mike, I honestly believe one of the reasons I really believe that our emotions impact our health. I really believe that giving and serving, believe it or not, can help someone's health flourish. In fact, I know it can. So, Mike, I mean, maybe share one or two things that happened this weekend that just really stand out to you. And like what Britton said, she said it was amazing. It was a major high. Definitely was a high. Britton's pretty better than a plate of broccoli, isn't it? Mike, share one or two
uh,
things that just really stuck out this weekend, and then I will, and then we'll go into health and weight loss, my friend.
Well, there were so many things. It's hard to really nail it down, but one of the things that really stands out to me, and of course this is pretty close to me because it's one of the things that I do on a pretty regular basis, which is go into lower income neighborhoods and serve children, fatherless kids, and just kids that you know don't necessarily have the greatest family life at home. And we after a lot of really a lot of struggles trying to get it going, we ended up finding a location in one of the worst neighborhoods in America. In fact, the statistics say it's number 12 as far as the worst neighborhoods in America. Number 12 worst neighborhood. That's pretty bad, right? I mean, there's a lot of neighborhoods in the U.S. to be ranked number 12. And we ended up going there, for an hour and a half, and really just bringing some popsicles and playing kickball with these kids that were there at the playground. We connected with some guys playing basketball, brought them some water, and just spent some time, some real quality time with the kids that were there. And it was, to me, it was amazing to see it happen. Um, because I've done this in a lot of different places, and I've seen a lot of hurt and brokenness in a lot of kids, and we've served and given and played with these kids and just spent time with them. But these kids opened up so quickly, and they just, the authenticity and the love that our people showed to them was amazing. And the results that we saw there, the way that they connected with us, the way that they our people loved on them and they loved back on us. It was an amazing thing. And and uh you know probably a lot of our people were a little nervous to go into, really a ghetto. It was a rough neighborhood. Okay, just telling you, it was the worst neighborhood in St. Louis, and one of the worst that
What?
you'll ever see in North America. Yeah. And yet, we came in with it with, our attitude was to come in and serve and love and just be a blessing, and out of that pure motive, love never fails. It was just an amazing thing.
Well, Mike, the thing of it is you're right. It was the real life. Okay, here's a real life missions trip story here. We actually wanted. Good to see Julie. I think she made a 16-hour drive back to Texas. Did y'all make it, Julie? Are y'all still on the road? That's 30. I believe they did 32 hours of driving in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days. So no more excuses for you that are skipping out on our missions trips. There's too many people that are making it happen. What about Emily, Mike? That I put a picture on Instagram. That was a cool story. Just wow, we didn't know that. Went to a grocery store, and her and a friend made a Mission 25 sign and raised $300 there, and went door to door and raised another $200. I thought that was cool. Still on the road. God bless Julie and her family, and I think Christy and Seth might still be on the road as well. I'm not sure. But Mike, the thing of it is about going into that ghetto there is even though it could be scary when you think, okay, this is the worst neighborhood in St. Louis, which St. Louis actually has many times been ranked as the worst city in America for crime, for violence. So when you think about going to the worst city in St. Louis, I remember it happening. You and I were sitting there kind of brainstorming where we should go because a lot of our people wanted to go to the projects or the ghetto and do kind of a mini block party, throw a party for them. And Mike, you and I were like, hey, we've been to Skid Row. I mean, let's go to if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's go to the worst. We're like, where sin abounds, grace does much more abound, my friends. So, what was cool was once we got there and started connecting with everyone, there was no problems, Mike. Not at all. I mean, everybody was open, the kids, the teenagers, even all the rough teenagers on the basketball court. Once we started giving them waters and drinks and, you know, uh, popsicles, I mean, they lit up, they opened up. So, Mike, listen, at the end of the day, uh, these places that we're all afraid of in America, I've learned if you go in and you're real and you don't act afraid and you act like you belong and you serve and you give, they open right up, my friend. But anyways, Mike, so, we could talk about health and weight, or excuse me, missions 25 all day. But like you said, today is health and weight loss, and we like to, as much as possible, stay on subject here. And we got to try to get everybody healthy for the week, Mike. But before I do, I didn't notice, but read off what Britton said here. I put it up on the screen.
Yeah, she says one of the teens she connected with at the teen shelter, his brother lives in Britain's hometown. That's amazing. And so the teen from the shelter is moving there this summer. So Britain's gonna uh, hook up with that teen and get him set up there and serve him and help him out. That's an awesome. That's a God connection right there. That's amazing. Think about what are the odds of that. Um, that Britain travels to Mission 25, and and out of I mean, there wasn't like 1,000 teens there. Out of a few dozen, 50 some teens that we met there, one of them has a brother that lives in Britain's hometown. That's incredible. It's an incredible coincidence, right? Not a coincidence.
Absolutely. Mike, listen to this, man. I want to give a quick just encouragement, because the reason why we put health and weight loss on Monday is because this is the start of a new week. And Mike, I honestly believe in Dave Ramsey's philosophy whenever he talks to people that are in debt. What's one of the first things he tells them to do? First thing is what? Cut the credit cards. There's a reason for
Right.
that. I mean, it's like a massive action statement in your financial world. He literally teaches people, when you're in debt, pull out every credit card out of your purse and your wallet and cut them up. Completely do away with them. Mike, we've talked about this before. I do a lot of coaching with people that are trying to lose weight. I was talking to a client of mine last week that was struggling with some bad eating, and we were working on her habits. And of course, I said, well, let me ask you this. She had made a statement that it's so hard because it's right there. She opens the cupboard and it's there. So the same principle, believe it or not, to those that are in debt of cutting up your credit cards, sometimes you got to stop the bleeding. So the first thing they do when someone is bleeding is they try to stop the bleeding. You obviously, my friends, we have to stop the bleeding when it comes to our health. I know a lot of people that when they fall off the wagon, or they get out of their routine, or they go on a vacation. In fact, I talked to somebody a couple weeks ago when we started weight loss coaching. He said, I did awesome last year. I did incredible for 3 months. Then I went on vacation, and from there it was downhill, and I'm right back to where I was before I ever started. Well, the message today and the encouragement today, Mike, is if you fall off the wagon, if you have a bad weekend or a bad week, or you eat really bad, don't allow yourself to continue down the path of destruction. Don't allow yourself to continue to make bad choices and unhealthy choices. Case in point, we didn't sleep much this weekend. We weren't able to get in our wheatgrass and juicing as much as we would have liked to. But guess what? Today is Monday. It's a new day. It's the fresh start of the week. I encourage everybody, no matter how bad you've slipped up, I encourage you right now today to start back into your healthy habits and your healthy lifestyle of, juicing, wheatgrass, water with lemon, eating plant-based foods, lots of vegetables and fruit, and white meat. Stay away from the sugars, the white flour, the grease, the fast food, especially after you've had a vacation. Or, what a lot of people might do is they make a mistake. They think that to lose weight, they should starve themselves. They feel guilty for eating bad, and so they say, oh my God, I'm not going to eat for a week. These are unhealthy habits. This is an unhealthy lifestyle. What you've got to do is just wake up today and say, okay, today's the first day of the rest of my life. It's a new day. I am going to stop this pattern of bad eating. I'm going to stop this pattern of unhealthy choices. So maybe you haven't been to the gym for 2 weeks. Go. Take massive action. And again, if you've allowed bad food to creep into your house, go in and literally throw it away, or go give it to a food pantry or to the homeless. Just get it out of your home, my friends, and don't allow it to be there. It's like cutting up the credit cards. I know a lot of people, they say, well, as soon as this 2 liter of Coke is gone, I'm going to stop drinking Coke. Nope. If it's halfway gone, go pour it down the drain and get rid of it now. Even Dave Ramsey, when it comes to finances, someone will say, well, Dave, since I still got $1,000 left on this credit card and I'm in debt anyways, I'm going to go ahead and spend it. Nope. Stop right now. Cut it up. So I would say to all of you, like Mike, when I got home last night, immediately went to the grocery store and got all that I needed for juicing because I made up my mind that I was going to hit it hard, get right back in my rhythm, get right back in my routine, and get right back into my healthy habits. So I think that's very important, Mike. What's your take on that, my friend?
Actually, as you were talking about that, I love the concept of, first of all, stop the bleeding. Right? It's triage. There's a problem. You stop the bleeding first of all, and then continue with the treatment. But when I was when you were talking about that, I actually reminded me of something that happened, a real life example that, and I'm just going to share it because I saw you do this. When we were in Tampa for Mission 25 in January, and staying with you, and we cheated a little bit over the weekend, right? We made some fried tacos, and because my wife Carol makes these awesome, amazing fried
Amazing.
tacos,
Deadly.
and
Amazing.
like, yeah, and like these homemade tortilla chips and everything. So we had a night where we had fried tacos and homemade tortilla chips and this awesome fresh salsa, and like the next day, it was Monday, and you walk over to the refrigerator and you open it up and you take all this leftover chips and all this stuff, and it's like right in the trash, man. It's gone. We're juicing today. It's going out, taking massive action. And that there's a psychological effect. It's like cutting up your credit card.
Yeah,
It really does create a psychological, like, okay, here's a threshold we're crossing over, no going back. and
absolutely.
and when I saw you do that, it clicked in my head. I'm like, that's massive action. That's the definition of it. And that's like pouring out the rest of the Coke. It's like, okay, it's here. You think, oh, it's still good food. I don't want to, and for me, growing up in farm country, and, you finish what's on your plate and you don't throw food away. You don't waste anything. But at the same time, I'm like, but yeah, okay, that makes sense. Let's get rid of it. And massive action.
Well, you know what, Mike? We actually grew up with improper teaching about food. We were taught, you
Yeah.
ready for this? Not to waste food, okay? I get the principle of what our parents tried to teach us, but it was wrong because we're actually not supposed to eat everything that's on our plate. That created this psychological improper habits about food. We're so, and even our parents said, there's starving kids in Africa that would give anything to have. And that's true, right? That there's no question about that. But just because there's starving kids out there doesn't mean, like, for example, let's say that, I have somebody sent me some cupcakes, okay? And I love a good cupcake. But if someone sends me a dozen cupcakes, here's what's going to happen. I'm just telling you up front. I will eat one or two, okay, spaced out. But there's no way that I would ever feel guilty about most likely try to give them to my neighbors or take them to the ball team and give them to the boys. But there's been times, Mike, I've just literally had to throw good food away and no guilt because here's the bottom line, it's waste whether it's in the trash can or whether it's in my stomach. Either way, it's waste. So it's not being ungrateful. It's not being wasteful because you don't finish everything on your plate. I think that's wrong thinking for us to feel guilty for throwing stuff away and thinking, well, I might as well just finish it, or this isn't right for me to throw this food away since, like for example, let's say you go out to eat. Carol said, I'm offended. Why are you offended over the chips?
Well,
Carol,
hey,
you can
you
laugh
got
at the drop of a hat. What's that, Mike?
well, you got to remember that when Carol does something, she goes in, she goes all in, she goes big, right? So she
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
like make 5 tacos. We're like, you make like 30 tacos. She's like, if she's gonna make
Oh, that
tacos, you're gonna have some
it
tacos.
was like I could have filled a bucket. I was, and so. But I think that, Mike, that's so important for people to let go of the guilt when it comes to food. Like if you go out to eat, right, you're paying for it. So because we're paying for it, we feel like we got to eat it all. In reality, I think it's good discipline to not eat it all. You know, believe it or not, we're supposed to be eating smaller portions throughout the day. And I think this whole philosophy, that's why I don't like buffets, because everybody's like, I got to get my money's worth, you know. And it's a psychological thing, in my opinion, Mike. So to all the parents out there, teach your kids to be grateful, teach them to give, but don't ever tell them they have to finish everything on their plate, because if that message is continuously ingrained in them, you know, we're afraid of wasting food. Like I said, the number one thing I want you to remember is it's waste either way, especially when it's bad food. It's waste in the trash can or it's waste in the stomach. Either way, it's going to waste, my friend. So that Coke is much better off down your drain than it is in your body. So if you got a half a 2 liter left from the weekend, it doesn't belong in your fridge this week. It's got to go, my friends. I'm sorry, it's got to go. Go clean your battery in your car with it, because that's what it's good for.
Hey, so two things quick. I like what Tammy said, make less portions. That's good practical advice. And that's one of the things that, if we can figure out how to make smaller portions, because oftentimes, we just end up with way too much. And that's super good advice. Find a way to do that. The other thing, when you're mentioning about going to a restaurant, what my wife and I find is that most restaurants serve such enormous portions anyway, that you can like cut your bill in half by splitting. And especially if you happen to be married to someone like me that will literally eat anything, I can just say, order whatever and I'll eat half of it.
Anything. I've literally watched you go into a restaurant, open a menu, and look straight ahead or close your eyes, point, and then tell the waiter, "I'll have that." I'm like, dude, you're out of your mind. But anyways, go ahead. That's good stuff you're saying.
And a lot of times we forget that, we'll go in, we'll like, oh, we'll get this, and the plate comes out and it's like 4 times more food than you actually need. And it's like $20. You end up two people spending 40, $50, and it's like, well, we could have done this for $20 and split. It would have been plenty of food. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes just you feel good about just, oh, give me a box and I'll put the food in the box and I'll take it home, and then it sits in the fridge for 4 days and I throw it away.
Mike, I'll venture to say that I'm gonna, and again, so me, you, and Joe, I can't remember. Maybe it was Shane. Good to see our good friend Shane on the show, who's just an awesome guy. Shane, we almost pulled a royal major joke on you yesterday, but we're gonna save it, my friend. We're gonna tell you what it is, but anyways, it's a good one, Shane. But I like this right here. This is a good idea that Tammy said. Take half, eat half your eat what you eat. Take the other half to go and give it to a homeless person. That's good as long as it's not a sandwich, where you maybe eat half of it and then it's no. I'm just kidding. As long as it's cut. But anyways, listen to this, Mike. I'd venture to say that probably 8 to 9 out of every American overeats all the time. Literally, I mean, you go to a cookout and you look at people's plates when they fill it up, or you go to a potluck at church and it's like, oh my God. And you're right, Mike. I love the idea of splitting. I think that's a genius idea. I think it's a great idea to split. And something that's funny, Mike? Here's what's funny. I go to New York City every year, and we go for probably anywhere, sometimes 5 to 7 to 10 days. And if you follow our Instagram and our Facebook, we eat like freaks, man. You know what I mean? But you know what's funny is every year that we go to New York, I lose weight, man. And you know why?
Mm.
Because even though it may look like we eat like freaks, and we do, we actually we actually eat smaller portions so we can try many things. And
Right.
believe it or not, I'm telling you, I'm a believer in smaller portions. I'm a believer in spacing it out. I think that we should all encourage ourselves by saying we will get to eat again. That's what I want to say to some people. Hey, you know what the good news is? You can eat again, my friend. This is not your last meal ever. We eat sometimes as if it's our last meal ever. And I think that's a bad idea, and I think that's creating unhealthy habits within us. Let me get caught up. Uh,
As you're reading, Shane said, "Remember that getting even is the best part." Actually, I'm starting to think about that now. I'm not sure that Shane's the one we want to play a trick on.
I know. Shane, we were gonna call you because Shane is so willing to do anything, and that's a good trait. He's got a true servant's heart, and he's just real, and he'll do anything for you. Shane's a friend you want to have because literally he
Yeah.
would give you his last taco. You know what I'm saying? But Shane, we were gonna call you.
I think we lost Matt, which is probably good because he was going to let the cat out of the bag. Seriously? Yeah, Shane says Bama boys don't play. I'm thinking it's a bad idea anyway, so we'll hey, maybe we'll instead we'll play a trick on Joe. Hey, good to see Joe on here. Miss you already, man. See what we can do about getting Matt back on here. He must be
What's
that
funny? What's
unplugged
funny
studio.
is
I also
this.
like what how can I keep you on the show, Matt? What can I do to keep you on the show?
Well, it's funny. All of a sudden, Joe shows up and I'm gone. I don't know. Oh man, it's good to see Joe on here, and good to see everybody, Mike. I really appreciate those that watch our show live and interact with us and give comments. And Shane says,
Yeah.
"Bama boys don't play." So anyway, yeah, Mike, and then those that watch later on the archive, we got a lot. Listen, it's not just the live viewers. There's people that literally can't watch, but watch later throughout the day,
Right.
every day. I'm humbled by anybody that would take 30 minutes out of their day to watch our show. And so yeah, let's go back to Mike, the principle of this idea of feeling like we've got to eat everything. See, the last thing you want to do in health and weight loss is overeat. You're
Yeah.
better off literally not eating until you're full, because I literally teach people to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And I believe in that. Mike sometimes will say to me, "Man, you eat like a horse, man." That's because, I eat every couple of hours, and I try to eat smaller portions. And I think that if you can literally adopt that lifestyle, remember, we don't diet here with our health and weight loss training. We teach
Right.
lifestyle. So, same thing with exercise, Mike. We over exercise. We'll get all motivated after a show. Someone's going to go out and run 10 miles, and then they're not going to run again until next Monday. What we're looking for is daily, consistent habits that help you live a healthy lifestyle, my friends. So that's why I'd rather you do a 20, 30-minute walk every day. What a lot of people, Mike, is they try to they don't live consistency. Consistency is the key when it comes to health and weight loss. I love what
You
Britton
know,
said. This helps keep your metabolism up, and she's 100% right. So, Mike, I know that we've
yeah.
just kind of shared, but we got about a minute and a half. Are there any questions that we want to address? Are there any thoughts that you want to give about the subject we've been talking about? Maybe some of the things that you've learned or experienced in the world of overeating, or people that tend to have emotional connection with food. You know, I mean, literally, Mike, it's astounding how many people have emotional issues when it comes to food. And a lot of times people are what we call emotional eaters. Any thoughts on that before we go?
Well, there's actually a very strong connection. Intentionally, there's a strong connection. I believe that God designed it that way between eating and emotion, which is one of the reasons that the Apostles' doctrine includes breaking bread and spending time. There's that's such a great way to connect with people is to have food with them, and that's a natural process for us. But using it as a way to sort of treat depression or anxiety or those sort of things, sort of, and that a lot of times comes from our upbringing. We've talked a little bit today about some of the bad habits that we've gotten from our parents and that sort of thing about finish everything. And I mentioned, I saw that somebody, or Christy I think, said something about uh, a woman said, "I worked hard to cook this for you. Now eat it all." Said to her, her child, that like it was a
Yes.
guilt thing. Eat all of
Yeah.
this because I worked hard to make this. Uh, and so we have a lot of well, the problem is we really have a lot of negative connotations when it comes to food, or we have incorrect thought processes about it, which
Yeah.
which leads to those emotional eating sort of
So if
problems.
you're a parent, don't do that to your kids. That's very good. Mike, we're out of time. Thank you guys so much for taking time with us on this Monday morning. Guys, do it. Have a great week. The secret to having a good week is look, just exercise every day for the next 5 days, juice every day for the next 5 days, drink a lot of water with lemon. Do not eat fast food one time between now and next Saturday. Don't eat junk. Go right now in your kitchen, throw away everything that's bad, and go get some vegetables and fruit and some healthy things that you can put into your body. God bless. We love you, Joe. We love you, Shane. We love you, Carol. We love everybody on here live today. We'll be seeing you tomorrow morning for our finance. Tomorrow on Tuesday, we're going to be talking about finances Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. God bless. We love you guys. See you, my friend
See you
Mike.
tomorrow.